Sunday lunch at my parents' house was never about food. It was about control. My sister, Jenna, had barely touched her glass of wine when Mom cleared her throat and said, "Your sister lost her job, so you'll be covering her bills for a while." Like it was obvious. Like I was a bank. Dad chimed in without looking up from his roast. "Family helps family, Aurora. Don't be difficult." Difficult.
Right.
I was the difficult one because I didn't crash cars, fake illnesses for money, or scream at waiters. All I did was say no, and apparently that made me heartless. I set down my fork, wiped my mouth, and smiled. "Great. Then she can move into your house, because I'm selling mine and leaving town next week." The table went silent. Jenna's jaw dropped. Mom's fork clattered. "You're what?" she hissed. I leaned back. "I got a new job. In London. 6 figures. Company flat. I didn't tell anyone because, well, you just proved why." Jenna scoffed. "That's a bluff. You wouldn't abandon your family." But she didn't know the half of it. I wasn't bluffing. And I hadn't just planned a move. I'd planned a departure. A clean, ruthless one. And they were about to choke on it. "You're moving to London?" my mom repeated, her voice rising like steam from her untouched tea. "No discussion, no family meeting, nothing?" I shrugged. "You didn't have a meeting when you offered me up as Jenna's personal ATM, either." Jenna laughed bitterly. "You're being dramatic. You're single, no kids. What do you even need the money for?" My blood ran cold, but I kept my face calm. They always did this, strip me down to utility like I was a tool to be used until broken. "You're right," I said coolly. "I don't have kids. But I do have boundaries. And newsflash? I'm done playing support staff in Jenna's disaster movie." Dad slammed his napkin on the table. "Watch your tone." I stood up slowly, picked up my bag.
No.
"You watch yours. This isn't a tone. It's a warning." I left before they could guilt-trip me back into silence. That night, Jenna tried to blow up my phone. Mom followed with, "You owe us more respect. We raised you. We're your family." But my flight was already booked. My resignation letter had been submitted 2 days ago. The movers were scheduled. And at the bottom of my inbox, unopened, sat one last message. From someone Jenna forgot all about. Her ex-husband. I hadn't heard from Miles in years. Not since the divorce Jenna orchestrated like a stage play, where she made herself the victim and him the villain. But his email was short. Precise. "Aurora, I know we haven't spoken in a while. But I have something you should see. It's about your sister. Call me." I hesitated. Miles had always been too good for Jenna. Quiet, methodical, honest. All the things she despised. I called. He answered on the first ring. "Aurora," he said, voice sharp. "I know this is awkward, but I've been holding something back. About why we really divorced." He sent over files, bank statements, voice recordings, and a scanned copy of an old police report I'd never seen. Jenna hadn't just drained his finances. She'd forged my name years ago, applying for loans under my identity when she was still married. And Mom had co-signed. I felt my hands go numb. Miles continued, "I didn't press charges for your sake. I thought maybe they'd change. But now that I know they're still using you, I booked another appointment that same night. Not with a lawyer. With a forensic accountant. If they wanted family, I'd show them exactly what family secrets cost." By the time I sat across from the forensic accountant, I had everything. My credit reports. The loan Jenna took out in my name. And Mom's signature on a co-signed document from 5 years ago. The accountant, a woman named Elise, looked over the files with a slow, calculating gaze. "This isn't just fraud," she said. "This is premeditated identity theft with family collusion." The word collusion burned in my ears. Elise outlined the next steps. Lock my credit. File an official police report. Prepare civil litigation paperwork. Notify the bank of forged documents. "You can sue both your mother and sister," she said. "And if you want, we can freeze their accounts as part of discovery." I nodded, fire in my chest. Do it. I didn't feel guilty. Not even a little. Because they'd stolen years from me. Not just money. Every delayed promotion, every sleepless night covering Jenna's rent, every holiday where I was expected to be grateful for scraps. This wasn't revenge. This was justice. And while they gossiped over wine and blamed bad luck, I was laying bricks, building their downfall with receipts, signatures, and court orders. They had no idea. But Christmas was coming. And so was the storm. The court date was set for the week before Christmas. I didn't tell them. Instead, I played the role they expected, the silent, distant sister who ran off after being asked for a little help. They thought I was bitter, broken, pouting in some overpriced apartment in London. Meanwhile, I was quietly coordinating with my lawyer, my accountant, and the investigator Miles hired, who, it turns out, had found something even worse. Mom had funneled money meant for my college fund into Jenna's failing business years ago. $42,000.
Gone.
She'd signed my name on the withdrawal forms when I was 19. That discovery pushed the case into felony territory. My lawyer smiled as he slid the paperwork across the desk. They're not just facing civil penalties now. This could become criminal if you want it to. I stared at the documents. My mother's signature, forged next to mine. Jenna's business expenses paid with money meant for my future. I thought of all the Sundays I spent washing their dishes, cleaning their messes, smiling through their insults like a trained servant.
Push it, I said.
All the way. And while they hung tinsel and baked cookies for their picture-perfect Christmas, I was wrapping justice with a bow. December 22nd. They invited me to patch things up over a holiday dinner at Mom's. "We miss you," Jenna texted. "Let's just be family again." It wasn't an olive branch. It was bait. They wanted me quiet before court. I accepted the invitation with a smile. When I arrived, the house smelled like cinnamon and secrets. Jenna greeted me with a fake hug. Mom avoided my eyes. Over dinner, Dad raised a toast to family unity. Then Jenna said it, sweetly, like poison laced in honey. "I hope we can forget the past. There's no need to drag up mistakes, right?" I took a deep breath, then calmly placed a stack of papers on the table. "Actually, I have a gift. For everyone." Mom's smile faltered as she read the first page. Police report. Evidence of forgery. Lawsuit details. Court summons. Dad went pale. Jenna's hand trembled. "I didn't come for apologies," I said, standing. "I came to serve notice." I turned to leave. "You'd ruin Christmas?" Mom gasped. I stopped at the door. "You already did. Years ago." Outside, the night air felt clean.
Free.
Inside, I heard raised voices, the clatter of broken glasses, and a sob. That wasn't the end. The real storm was still coming. Christmas Eve. The news broke while they were taking family photos in matching pajamas. Jenna's face was plastered across the local business journal under the headline, "Family Fraud Scandal Unfolds, Sister Speaks Out." I hadn't spoken to the press, but someone from the courthouse clearly had. By the time I arrived at Miles' loft for our own quiet Christmas, my phone had exploded with missed calls. Jenna, 19. Mom, 11. Even Dad, 7. I turned it off. Miles handed me hot cocoa and kissed my forehead. "You did it." "I didn't want to," I whispered. "They made me." He nodded. "And now, they'll finally face what they built." Later that night, a delivery truck pulled up to their house. Inside, boxes of printed court evidence, binders of bank statements, one framed photo of 19-year-old me, smiling on the day they stole my future. With it, a card. "Family means never signing my name again. Sincerely, the daughter you taught not to forgive." They tried to call again. This time, I didn't even flinch. I poured a glass of wine, turned on the fire, and smiled. Christmas wasn't about family anymore. It was about closure. They showed up at my door the day after New Year's. No calls. No warnings. Just stood there, red-eyed, hollow, and desperate. Mom started crying the second I opened the door. "We lost everything," she said. "The court froze our accounts." Dad spoke quietly. "We were wrong. Jenna's business is gone. Our retirement, too." Jenna stood behind them, mascara smudged, arms crossed like a teenager caught stealing. We're family, Mom whispered. Can't you fix this? I stepped outside and closed the door gently behind me. No, I said. I fix myself. That's enough. Jenna scoffed. All this because you couldn't help me with a few bills? I laughed once, cold. You helped yourself. To my money, my identity, my dignity. I just returned the favor. You ruined us, Dad said. No, I replied. You handed me the matches. I just stopped putting out your fires. They stood there, stunned, as I walked back inside, without a single tear. Later that night, Miles and I watched fireworks from the rooftop. The city sparkled below. You okay? He asked. I'm finally me, I said. And they're finally accountable. He wrapped his arm around me. This year, no one